Welcome to the SmartKeys podcast. Today, we are launching into a deep dive on, well, what's probably the toughest transition any company faces. It's that leap from being a scrappy, fast-moving MVP to becoming a real market leader.
It really is an inflection point.
Yeah.
The very things that made you successful early on, that speed, that hustle, they can actually start to work against you.
They become weaknesses.
Yeah, structural weaknesses. You've got product market fit, revenue is climbing, which is great. But without repeatable systems, that growth is just going to break everything.
Okay, so that sets our mission for today. We need to unpack the blueprint for making that shift. Let's start with the basics. We hear growth and scaling thrown around all the time, often together, but our sources draw a really sharp line between them. If my revenue is growing, am I not scaling?
Not necessarily, no. Think of it this way. Simple growth is like loading more packages onto a delivery truck.
Okay.
And for every 100 extra packages, you have to hire a whole new truck, a new driver, new manager. Your revenue goes up, sure, but your costs jump right along with it.
So your margins don't actually improve.
Exactly. You're just trading volume for more expense. True scalability, on the other hand, is figuring out how to double the packages you deliver with maybe, say, a 10% increase in cost.
How do you do that?
Through automation, better software, smarter processes. It's all about increasing your capacity without that proportional jump in cost. That's the core of it.
That makes perfect sense. So if that's the goal, more output, not more cost, how does a founder know they're ready? When is it time to stop the hustle and start building these scalable systems?
Well, the signals are usually painful, which is a good indicator.
Right.
You're looking for concrete data points. Of course, there's the obvious one, 6 months of sustained, strong revenue growth. But on the ground, it feels like worn-out teams, burnout. It's a CRM pipeline that's so full you can't close deals fast enough because of all the manual work.
So when demand is just constantly and stressfully outpacing what you can actually deliver,
That's your sign.
it's the difference between having a great idea and having a great machine that can deliver that idea over and over again without, constant fires to put out.
Precisely. You have to move from what we call founder heroics,
I'll take that term.
where the founders are in every meeting, saving every crisis, to a model of disciplined management. The goal is to let the team repeat success without the founder being a bottleneck. And that's a huge mindset shift.
So this is where it gets really interesting because it's not just about tech. The sources really hammer this home. It starts with people. They bring up Rayport's 6S framework: staff, shared values, structure, speed, and so on. Why start with staff and shared values before you even touch infrastructure?
Because your people are the highest leverage you have, period. You have to invest in A-plus talent early. If you hire someone who's just good enough, they introduce friction, they introduce debt into the system that costs you so much more to fix later on.
And there's data to back this up. It's not just a feeling.
Oh, the data is staggering. High performers can be 400% more productive than an average employee.
400%.
And in really complex roles, like, say, a lead software architect, that can jump to 800%. A small team of top-tier people sets the standard for everyone who follows.
So you're not just filling seats, you're raising the talent bar. And then you have to protect the culture that keeps them there. How do you do that when you're suddenly adding hundreds of people?
You make the implicit explicit. Culture can't just be a slogan on a poster. It has to be codified into the actual behaviors you expect.
Oh, can you give me an example?
Sure. If accountability is a core value, you define the behavior. We document every key decision within 24 hours and assign one single owner. That stops the culture from breaking apart as you grow.
That makes so much sense. And it's a perfect bridge to the technology side, because once you have that human foundation, you have to deal with the villain of every startup story: technical debt.
Right.
You moved fast to get the MVP out, but now you have to pay that debt down. So what are the big architectural shifts you need to make to handle a massive load? Is it just about buying a bigger server?
That's the classic vertical versus horizontal scaling choice. And it defines your ceiling.
Vertical is the bigger server.
Right. It's simple, but you hit a limit fast. And if that one machine fails, you're completely down.
But horizontal scaling, spreading the load across hundreds of smaller machines, that sounds way more complex to manage.
It is more complex, but that complexity is worth it for the resilience and the elasticity it gives you. You manage it with 2 core patterns: decoupling and externalizing state.
Okay, break that down for me. What does it mean for a service to be stateless?
Imagine a big warehouse. If every worker wrote down order details on a notepad at their own specific workstation, only that one worker could finish the order. That's a stateful system.
And if they go home for the day?
The order is stuck. A stateless system is where all the order information is in a central, shared database. Any worker can pick up any order at any time because the state isn't tied to them personally.
So the system doesn't rely on any single component remembering what's going on.
Exactly. You treat your servers like disposable resources. And that leads you to the idea of a scale unit.
A scale unit?
Yeah, you define these explicitly. Instead of adding resources piece by piece, you define a whole, repeatable chunk. A unit of capacity, like 100 virtual machines plus 2 message queues plus 3 storage accounts.
So it's like a prepackaged deployment kit. You're ordering capacity in standardized bundles.
Think of it like a taco kit for your capacity.
Uh-huh. I love that.
You don't order tortillas and meat and cheese separately for 100 different locations. You just order 2 more pre-configured kits that you know can handle the load. It makes growth predictable.
That repeatability is brilliant. Which brings us to automation. Autoscale sounds great on paper, but we've all heard the horror stories about flapping, where the system scales up and down, wasting money.
Yeah, flapping is a nightmare.
Yeah.
It's caused by reacting too quickly to what is essentially just noise, a tiny, temporary spike in traffic.
So how do you stop that?
Yeah. You use autoscale with guardrails, and you base it on meaningful metrics, like how long your queue is, not just CPU.
Yeah.
But the key concept is called hysteresis.
Hysteresis. Okay, give me the non-technical analogy for that one.
It's like the accelerator pedal in a high-performance car.
Yeah.
You don't want it to jerk forward with every tiny twitch of your foot. There's a slight dampening.
Ah, a delay.
Built-in delay. You tell the system, hey, even if CPU drops, don't scale down for at least 15 minutes because we know traffic might spike again. It prevents those rapid panic cycles.
It makes it instantly clear it's about building in stability.
Right. And you pair that with hard boundaries so you never accidentally scale beyond what your system can actually handle.
So we've got the team, the culture, the tech. Why does all this discipline matter financially? How does this protect a company's margins?
It's pure survival. Founders who commit to fixed costs too early, they just lose all their agility.
Like building their own data center or buying a fleet of trucks.
Exactly. You build in this crippling financial drag.
Yeah.
And then if the market shifts, you can't pivot. You become fragile.
So the principle is clear.
Prefer variable over fixed expenses until your unit economics are absolutely proven. Use the cloud, outsource fulfillment. Variable costs let you flex up and down. That flexibility is what buys you strategic options.
It makes perfect sense. Now let's talk about the customer. As volume goes up, customer experience is often the first casualty. How do we prevent that?
By getting intense about process, you have to blueprint your end-to-end workflows.
So you mean literally mapping out every single handoff?
Every single one. From when a lead first comes in, to onboarding, to support, all the way to renewal.
It's like mapping the internal supply chain of the business.
That's exactly what it is. And for every single step, you assign one clear owner. No ambiguity. So when a handoff fails, you know exactly whose job it is to fix the process, not just who to blame.
And on the tech side, what if I have heavy background tasks, like generating big reports? How do I stop those from slowing down the user experience?
You have to protect that user path. The technique is called background task offloading.
Offloading.
Yeah. Any heavy work gets immediately pushed off the main path and into a message queue. The user clicks generate report. They get an instant "we're on it" message, and then a separate dedicated worker picks up the job in the background.
So the slow work happens far away from the user interface.
Miles away.
Hmm.
It guarantees that crisp, immediate response for the customer, no matter what's happening behind the scenes.
This all seems to tie back to strategic focus, that scope part of the success framework. When do you extend a product you already have versus building something brand new?
You have to choose carefully or you'll dilute your whole effort. The sources give clear criteria here. You should extend your existing products first, especially when you see demand in new regions. You're using a model you've already mastered.
You're compounding your strengths.
Right. And you only build brand new services when your best customers are actively asking for them, and it increases their lifetime value. And even then, you start with small pilots.
Okay, let's bring this all together. For the person listening right now, the founder, the manager, who knows they need to make this pivot, what are the two most immediate, high-leverage things they can do, the quick wins?
Okay, 2 things. They're about freeing up capacity and mapping constraints. First, automate one routine HR task and one routine finance task this month,
And something simple.
like payroll
Yeah.
or invoicing, something that frees up a smart person's time for more strategic work. That's where your breakthroughs come from.
I love that. Free up brain power. What's number 2?
Run a serious, documented scenario test for a 3x demand spike on your most critical service.
Don't just guess where you'll break.
Exactly. Stress test it. Map the exact limits of every part of the system. Finding those constraints now is the fastest, cheapest way to prioritize what you need to build to protect your customer experience.
That is incredibly powerful. You're basically engineering success instead of just, hoping for it.
That's the whole game. Moving from hopeful experiments to building a repeatable, efficient operation.
Well, that was a true deep dive into what it takes to scale a business successfully. Thank you for guiding us through that.
My pleasure. This really is the framework that separates the flashes in the pan from the companies that last.
And thank you for tuning in to the SmartKeys podcast. We hope this roadmap helps you turn your growth into truly sustainable scale.
If you want to review all the strategic insights we talked about, including those architecture patterns and the 6S framework, be sure to subscribe to the SmartKeys podcast. And you can find the link to the full-source article, Scaling Strategies for Startups, from MVP to Market Leader, right there in the show notes.
We'll catch you on the next deep dive.